let's welcome in the professor, Jason Jones of The Athletic, and of course, your partner over on the J Street Vibes podcast.
Oh no, this wasn't on the show. Jason, you want to tell Damian what's going on, where you're going to be in a couple weeks?
I'm going to be at SoFi Stadium. I'm going to be at WrestleMania.
Oh, wow.
Both nights.
Okay.
Both nights.
Man, J Street Vibes paying good. Man. Okay.
It's an assignment, so I can't even. I'm gonna have a credential on. I can't even be like, I ain't balling like that.
That's all right. You can still enjoy it even with a credential.
Some good stuff.
That's good stuff, man. I'm.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it. If I had money like that, my kids would be going too.
I'm not excited for Brock and Taco Fall, but I'm. I think they've told the Roman Cody story pretty brilliantly, sir. Or I don't want to say brilliantly, but it's been a good story, so I'm looking forward to that.
Should be fun and go, do some press stuff beforehand, and then we'll have the blog going all weekend, and I'll be in the building. The guy for The Athletic in the building, keeping tabs and everything. Press conferences both nights. It should be fun.
You think Ja comes back this season? And when I say this season, I'm gonna include the playoffs in that.
I would think that I don't know. I mean, part of me says yeah, but I don't know. I mean, when you hear someone's going to get counseling, I don't even know what that means. I mean, is that substance? Is that just your mental health? I think the most important thing is that whatever he's dealing with, he deals with that and gets himself right. Whatever that means. I mean, I'm not going to speculate about what it is because we really don't know. But if he needs a break to get himself straight, because what is he, 23?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of life to live, and we all did crazy things at 23. Some of us 33, some of us 43. So, let's right now, it seems like his biggest crime is being dumb with just making dumb decisions on social media. Then obviously, if he had a weapon, that's not a bright decision at all. Yeah. But whatever's going on, I just hope he gets back. I would be surprised if he came back this season, because normally when you hear about these things, if it's going to be a return soon, you have some type of, timeline. Someone's leaked the timeline. All we're getting with this is at least 2 games, at least 4 games. No, we can't say anything, and usually if he were coming back soon, he wouldn't be in a facility in Florida. He'd be in Memphis working out, getting ready to get back on the court.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that seems like a whole nother thing, right? Like once he gets done with the facility, if we're talking about him getting back this season, he's still going to have to they're gonna have to work him out for another week or two, right? To get ready to play and get in game shape, because who knows what he's been doing right now. So
you can't send a coach to counseling, can you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know if we could get an
open. It's not Darren's honeymoon. You can't. I don't think it works.
I don't know if he's in a counseling facility with a bunch of players and give him a game or anything. So yeah, this is different. I've never heard it phrased quite like that. That it was counseling as opposed to drug rehab, or sometimes it's just usually it's pretty clear what's going on. Are you just personal reasons or whatnot? So this is different. I don't know what to make of it. Yeah, they beat the brakes off of Dallas last night, but long term, I don't think anyone thinks this team is better without Ja. But if Ja's not right, they're not good anyway. So go ahead, young man, get what you got to get done, and whoever you got to talk to, figure that out. And ultimately, this is his life and his career. People are saying, well, what's his dad doing? What are his friends doing? It's like, no, he's got to do stuff for himself. Let's stop putting the pressure on everyone else to make decisions for him. Let him figure out what he needs to do that's best, and between himself, his family, the Grizzlies and the league, and do what it takes to get him back on the floor and keep him on the floor.
Yeah, unfortunately, part of what he's going to have to deal with at some point is dealing with those individuals. But there's obviously steps that he's got to take before he gets there. But you mentioned it. The Grizzlies did get a win last night. They've beaten Dallas twice. That puts them back up to the 2 spot with the Sacramento Kings losing to the Milwaukee Bucks last night. What did you think of the performance from Sacramento against the league's best player and team last night?
Still can't stop anybody, but hey, I mean, that's kind of,
that's the season.
I mean, when you play the best players, that's what's going to, they're going to, if you're going to let Giannis keep going going down the paint, he's going to keep dunking. And probably the funniest part for me was that weird, I don't know what you call it, like almost like elementary school fight at the end of the game. Like, I don't know what it was really about.
Trey Lyles wanted to show,
but
his Undertaker choke slam. That's what he was trying to show Brook Lopez, his Undertaker choke slam. He's like, peep this joint right here. And he was about to lift him up, but Brook didn't want to work with him. So everybody intervened.
Yeah. I mean, I know we talked about it on the pod too. If you're going to give up 80 points and a half, you're probably not going to win.
No.
Just the basics. You're going to give up 80 and a half. I don't care how good you're off, unless you're going to go back to that 176, 175 game and do that every night. It's usually not a good idea to give a half, but Milwaukee's good. And then when it was time to play defense, Milwaukee put the clamps on. They just needed a couple of minutes to do it. Then boom, it's an 11-2 run, game over.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing is in for the Kings in that sense. It was the reverse of what the Kings can do against some team. It was just 2 or 3 stops, and that's enough.
Yeah. Drew gets that turnover, and all of a sudden they go, hey, Milwaukee's good. Milwaukee's really good, and like I said, you give up 80 and a half. I don't like your chances.
Yeah, I mean, and like Damian said, though, that's Kings basketball, right? That's why, to a certain degree, you can't always be comfortable with the lead, with the game, with the series, and all this other stuff, because they have that ability to be non-existent on the defensive end. The thing that gets people excited is the fact that they can score with just about anybody, I mean, the Bucks are one of the top defensive teams in the league, and they're going blow for blow, on the offensive end with these guys, and that's where you got to ask the question of what this team's ceiling. You think that? What I'll ask you, I'm not even going to put a cap on it. What is this team ceiling in your eyes, considering the defense and the offense?
They can win a series in the postseason. I think they can win a series depending on who they draw. You get down to the final 8 teams or whatever. I think at that point that defense is not going to be able to hold up against who would probably be left. If you're looking at like I said, it all depends on who you draw a lot of it, but I just can't see them making a deep playoff run with that kind of defense. I know you look at the numbers, there aren't a lot of teams, you don't have the bad boy Pistons anywhere in the league. You don't have the Tim Duncan defense Spurs. You don't have any of those around, but it's hard to be a good defensive, to go deep when you're consistently in the bottom third in the league of defense. I mean, you can't lean on we're good in the last 5 minutes, because like happened last night, somebody might be better than you in the last 5 minutes.
But what if you're the best offense in NBA history? Well, you routinely give up 125, but you score 129.
I'm still going to pick the team that plays better defense, because eventually I can trust defense more than offense.
No, that's fair.
And I don't care how we've had a lot of great offenses in NBA history that didn't win anything. I mean, the Phoenix Suns had a great offense.
They got to the conference finals.
Yeah, but this ain't no. This team has never done it. On top of that too,
and I think that's
I think people are glossing over the fact that you're looking at a lot of guys who have not been to the postseason. It's different.
Phoenix hadn't been to anywhere 2 years ago.
Phoenix had guys like Chris Paul.
Kevin Huerter went to Eastern Conference Finals. Domantas Sabonis has been in the playoffs. Here's some Barnes who won an NBA championship.
Are you comparing Kevin Herter's leadership to Chris Paul?
Well, let me ask you this: what the hell had Chris Paul done before that?
Be one of the best point guards in NBA
What did
history.
he won? What did he won before that?
He's been one of the best players in NBA history.
If he was one of the best players, what had he won before that?
I didn't say
Nothing.
Okay.
He won nothing.
But we're really going to compare. We're going to compare Chris Paul's leadership and experience.
No, I'm comparing
Kevin Herter.
I'm comparing the fact that you said they hadn't done it, and I said, what did Phoenix do before that? Chris Paul hadn't done nothing before that. He had won a game 7.
Chris Paul had been to the playoffs.
He had won a game 7 in the first round, and we act like that was Willis Reed. He hadn't done nothing before that.
No, Chris Paul had been past the first round.
Like once, maybe twice.
Okay, that's still Chris Paul.
I mean, I'll throw this out there too. I think all we're really talking about is De'Aaron. Like that's what we're talking about because Harrison Barnes has been there. Obviously, Keegan hasn't, but he doesn't have the weight of any failure on him. But let's also remember Mike Brown has done this before too. And I think Mike is working. I thought Mike was masterful after that New York Knicks game. Like he's trying to get this team ready to compete in the playoffs. They're always going to fall short defensively. How short? I think that'll vary from game to game. But their offense is good enough to win series. I think their offense is good enough to go far in this particular season, Jay, because sure, the Warriors are scary, but because of Steph, and you can see what happens when Clay gets hot. I still think there's something to the Clippers. Denver, I don't know. I guess I just don't respect Denver the way other people do. Memphis, I mean, there's no one that's like, oh my God, this team will destroy Sacramento. You said this earlier. There's no Milwaukee in the Western Conference. There's no Boston in the Western Conference. Like I think the conference is a little bit more open.
Yeah, I think the Kings are much closer to the teams 3 down than they are to Denver. That's just me. I don't think the Kings are so much ahead of anyone to where I could see them not losing to somebody in the first round too. They could easily lose in the first round. I wouldn't be shocked, depending on who they draw and the health of the team they play. So I mean, it could go either way. This is not like to me, that's almost kind of the danger or what makes this one tricky, because, like I said, what if they get a healthy Lakers team? What if they get the Warriors and the Warriors start clicking? You don't know how this thing is going to really shake up yet. I mean, I know people, you can laugh about it. If they get a healthy Pelicans somehow, I mean, that team was really good before the injuries hit. So I just can't. I don't see. I mean, they've taken care of business this year. They've also benefited from the fact they've been healthy. So and I don't say that as a knock on them. I'm just saying that when you look at everything, if all things get a month from now equal, I could see things going multiple different ways depending on who they draw.
Fair enough. No, I said it last night. I said I think they can get to the Western Conference Finals. They could also lose in the first round. I mean, that's the conundrum of this team. And I contributed back to the fact that they aren't a great defensive team. So that plays a factor in the sporadic nature of how they may play from game to game in a series. But people say stuff like the Pelicans, like, all right, well, why would we think the Pelicans could do anything?
Because when they were together, they were a top 4 team
in the first round last year.
Well, at least they've been there before.
Okay.
I mean,
the other thing about being there before, like this is a new, like I know we're talking about the Sacramento Kings, but we're not talking about this Sacramento Kings, and I think that's the difference.
I am. I mean, this group has not done it together. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm not like holding like the 2014 Kings over this team's head. I'm just saying this group. We haven't seen them under playoff pressure before, so I'll be curious to see how they figure that out. How the staff and how everybody puts this thing together. I was curious to see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, New Orleans is if they get healthy. Minnesota is if they get healthy. I mean, as we talk about Golden State, as much as Ja, we don't know what's going on with Andrew Wiggins. Like that's,
Yeah, that's
Andrew
crazy
Wiggins might
too.
not play
Yeah.
moving forward.
There's
But
a whole lot we don't know, right? There's a
yeah,
whole lot.
that's real talk.
There's a whole lot we don't know. I mean, between from 2 to 10, we don't know. This could look completely different in a week.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going on right now. So I just think I would just like to see that fourth quarter defensive effort for the Kings show up in the third quarter. Because the issue I kind of the trouble me about them is that, of course, the way the NBA is with the 3 ball, you're never really out of the game. But with the Kings, you really are never out the game. They're going to give you a chance to get back in, just because they're not going. You got to start. I mean, if you could start stringing those stops together in the third, and then maybe you go in with a bigger, gap or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, like I said, I'm a dinosaur. I just don't like watching guys go down the lane and dunk and like no one. Okay, get the ball out so we can run. Like, resistance, someone. And I think you can play defense in this league and still play fast. And I just think that if we're talking a month from now, 6 weeks from now in the postseason, that can be a fatal flaw. Because I mean, as good as they are offensively, they're almost just as bad on defense.
What do you make of Keegan Murray in the last week or so? It looked like coming out of the All-Star break, he'd been rejuvenated. I thought the way I looked at him playing, I thought he had, okay, he's got his NBA legs under him now. Now he's feeling, like he's here. And it's what is it? He's scored. He went scoreless 3 games ago, and he just hasn't produced a lot in the last
game too.
In the last few games. What do you make of what's going on with him? Possibly
rookie up and downs. I mean, it happens to vets too. I mean, him to go scoreless isn't ideal, of course, but for me, I got to see like 2 or 3 weeks before I go, oh man, something's really wrong. I got to see. When you play 80 something games, there's going to be at least 10, 12 you got to throw out and say, okay, either he's not going to be like, if he hit, like, say he hit 12 threes, he's not going to hit 12 every night, but he's also not going to go scoreless every night. It's almost like it's just a random anomaly for someone that talented who does get looks to go scoreless. I can't. I would need to see a much longer stretch before I'd be like worried. And it's not like the team has gone winless over that stretch, and we're all going those because of Keegan.
Right.
I mean, and that's the one thing about the team, the way it's constructed, is that they have enough to where, a couple of years ago, this team would lose every game that a starter didn't score. They got enough to cover for them. So that's one of the beauties of this team, is that it allows for some wiggle room. And I even talked to the guys at the start of the season. They were talking about that. Remember when Harrison got off to a little bit of a slow start, and they were even saying, hey, we got enough though. So we don't have to feel like Harrison doesn't have to feel like, oh my God, I'm kind of in a slump right now. We're not going to win a game. So I just think, it goes up and down during the season sometimes. And he's in a little bit of a down stretch now. If we get to the end of the regular season and he's had like 5 more scoreless games or something crazy, which of course I'm not predicting, of course, but I'd be more concerned if it was, a longer stretch of, struggle.
You want to tell us before you go what the hell is going on with your football team in Las Vegas?
No, I don't know. I've been telling y'all for over a year that, or however long it's been, I have no faith in the man on the sideline or the GM. I have zero. I don't know what they're doing.
Who you feel better about, your football team or your college basketball team?
Ooh, that's tough. Well, there's a ray of hope for the men's basketball team at Cal, because maybe they can get a new coach who can maybe get some things going. Yeah. I know I got Josh. And I wasn't impressed. And the thing is, I'm not even mad at them signing Jimmy Garoppolo. I just don't. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're going to bring in a new quarterback. Let's get rid of the tight end now.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Let's go get the receiver who threw the lateral to win us a game.
that was a crazy move.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, so Now you have no tight ends. And we know Jimmy likes to throw to the tight end.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty been established in his career. So what are you going to do there? And I'm still waiting for them, I don't know, to get a linebacker, maybe 2, maybe 3. I mean, like I said, I don't know. It just I just don't have much optimism with the right now. I'm willing to let it play out. Maybe Josh really is a genius and we just haven't seen it.
That's a bold take.
I didn't say I believe that.
No, I know you didn't. Just the thought that he might be is a bold take.
I'm just like I feel like I'm witnessing what happened in Denver years ago. Where you're going to see all these players be productive. You're going to see like a Brandon Marshall type guy go to a different team and have some success. You're going to see success from these guys other places, and we're all going to wonder, well, what happened with what happened over here? Then my man Vic Tafer tweeted that Darren Waller didn't like the fact that Josh announced his wedding at the combine, and I'm like, please don't tell me this is that petty. Please, I said, if we're down to that, go ahead and be tanking for next season because this is they'll mess around, not upgrade the line. Jimmy will get hurt.
Wow.
I mean, who's their backup quarterback right now? Chase Garbers. Go Bears. I mean, I guess they'll draft some poor kid and sacrifice him.
The cold piece about it with the Raiders is they're doing all these things in like the toughest division of football.
Mm-hmm.
Like how do you experiment and make
Sean
these type
Payton
of moves
in there now too?
Yeah, while you're dealing with Sean Payton, the defending champions, the Chargers. Like that's
maybe they're banking on Austin Eckler getting traded, and they'll be like, "See, got a better running back than I don't know what like I said, Nate. I spent 17, 18 weeks last season saying I wanted a new head coach.
Yeah.
And so I can't be like, oh, I believe in him because I don't. I really don't. I'm just like, okay, I guess. I'm like, okay.
Wasting prime Devontae Adams too.
Yeah, you got Devontae Adams out there with but they do want to. I guess they do like Mercedes Lewis, good old Long Beach Poly alum, even though Mercedes is almost the same age as me.
Oh, no.
I mean, I was in college when he was in high school, which is still way too old for him. I guess if Aaron Rodgers doesn't take half of Green Bay with him to the Jets, he'll let the Raiders have some people.
It sounds like Josh is just trying to get old Patriots in there to fill out
his get the gang back together.
Can he get my man the pack? Can he get Judon or can he get somebody really good?
Can you get Bill Belichick? Because that's probably the only way it's going to work.
That's probably the Patriot they really need, and that's not going to happen. So 5 wins, here we come, and they'll all blame Jimmy, but Jimmy will be like, "Hey, I'm living in Vegas and I'm paid." So even if it's terrible, like I said, it's not going to be his fault. The same way, like I said last year, it wasn't all on Derek Carr. So then you'll make the quarterback the scapegoat, and then eventually you'll get some young guy in there. The fact is, even if they draft a quarterback, Josh may not coach that guy more than a year or 2.
Jay, we appreciate you, man. Thanks as always.
Jay Jones.
Thanks for making me sad.
I was gonna say,
thanks for making me sad. I'm gonna go watch the Wu-Tang on Hulu now.
Hey, you're going to WrestleMania.
There you go.
How about that?
Yeah.
Sign.
All right, y'all.
Now do it like Ronda Rousey. Appreciate you, Jay.
All right.
Thanks, brother.
Catch you later.